It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 200 of our podcast. Woo! Yay! Where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we still hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly, Ann, what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Oh, today we're getting intense with the native pecan.
Because it is cloudy and rainy and it is delicious coffee and it's yummy. So you are missing out if you're not drinking this bright and early coffee. We have a code. It's CWTCL 15 for 15% off bagged coffee. Holly, where should they go to get this coffee?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
Or get K-Cups on Amazon and follow them on social media. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious pecan coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, 200.
200 episodes. And in recognition of this special moment, you're wearing some really nice costume jewelry over there.
No, it's not costume jewelry, man. It's my belt.
She's got this belt buckle on that would put your eye out. It's like rhinestone. She's like the rhinestone cowgirl over here. She got it from the table, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "No, I can't look away." That thing,
it's so bright.
Put your eye out
in the sky. It's so bright.
No, we're gonna shoot your eye out with that thing,
like a million stars. Yeah, it's my fun.
You gotta write show tunes for your belt buckle.
It's a fun belt that today.
I dare you to wear that around a chicken.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to go outside and do some videos today. So, yeah, you guys all have to see this belt buckle. But I've had it for a very long time, but I forgot I had it, but it's one of my favorites.
How do you forget? How do you forget that you have something that's one of your favorites?
I wore it last fall. I like it in the fall with like flannels because, I mean, you can like dress up a flannel with this belt.
No, you can't. No. You can put as many rhinestones on as you want. You are not dressing up a flannel unless it's like a flannel ball gown.
Ooh, that would be neat. Or a flannel dress with this in the middle would be really cool.
I know what you would wear on your feet.
My boots.
Oh, yeah. The shiny boots.
I looked.
What does this have to do with chickens?
It has nothing to do with chickens, but I'm going to tell you this. Western's in this fall.
Unless you're living in my house. Western is never in my house.
So,
no offense to those of you who really like Western style. That's great.
I took offense to that because I do like Western style.
You grew up with me. You are not Western at all.
I'm not, but I like the style.
Okay.
So anyway, no, what was happening was I was getting dressed today and I found my belt and I was like, I know Holly's going to like this belt. Let me go ahead and wear my fun belt
is
today.
A celebration in and of itself. That is, wow. Celebrating. I still want to see a hand will be pecking right at that.
Be like, look, I want to have a little fun today, so I'm going to break out my cowgirl belt.
I have an idea. Why don't you wear that when you come over to meet the geese?
No, thank you. So yeah, it's just my fun belt for the day. That's what's going on.
Well, 200 episodes. Thank you all for sticking with us.
I just flashed her my belt buckle.
I'll never be the same. I'm blind now. You're blinded
as
me.
Ella says, your eyes are scarred.
The sheen off that thing. It's like costume jewelry for your abdomen.
It's great, man.
Anyway.
TJ Maxx.
200 episodes. Thank you all. Thank you, our listeners, our patrons, our sponsors.
Thank you. We love everybody.
Thanks.
We're just happy today because this is 200. And you know what?
We feel 200.
I feel good. So yeah, 200 episodes. We have not missed a week in just about 4 years.
Oh, now I got to knock on wood.
Knock on wood. 1, 2, 3. Bringing you content and bringing you a show every week for that long to get us to 200 episodes. We have enjoyed spending every Tuesday with you guys. And it's been a lot of hard work, but a lot of fun having my best friend as my business partner.
Oh, yeah. It's great every day I get up and I'm like, thank goodness for Chrissy and this business.
You're like, thank God Chrissy's going to be calling me again.
I'm sitting at the table all groggy, trying to figure out what I'm doing with my day, and I hear the phone start to vibrate.
Like, shoot.
There she is.
How's your day going? How's everybody over there? I mean, we do start with like, how's everybody doing? Because we got a boatload of animals, man.
How the critters, absolutely. How the kids, yeah.
How's everybody doing? I mean, I just talked to you like probably 9 p.m. the night before, but yeah, you slept, so I got to call you when you wake up.
Something might have happened. What's happening?
Sometimes something does happen overnight.
Yeah, it's true. It does.
But, okay, on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. Those reviews make our day. It makes us smile. It's as simple as typing out a sentence, and you can really make us happy. We love them. They help us grow. Hit that subscribe button while you're there. That way you never miss an episode, and they count them.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell some chicken-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can check out our Etsy shop. We've got t-shirts, tank tops, and logo mugs. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Gigantic thank you to our patrons. We love you all.
Some of which have been with us almost 4 years. Thank you.
Yeah. The other thing you can do to help support the podcast is visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like subscription boxes?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let me take a minute to tell you about the Chicken Love Box. If you love goodies for your chickens and you need to go to chickenlove.com.
I love the mega box. Tons of useful products for my flock and a chicken tea for me.
You can't go wrong with a chicken tea. They are so cute and so soft.
In the April box, I absolutely love the chick leg bands and the organic soap set with hen decoration.
I am loving the Chicken Spirit long sleeve tee, and those chick vitamins, they could save a chick for sure.
Boxes start at $39 a month. They ship immediately after your order, and shipping is always free.
Such a great deal. Don't wait. Get off the nest and click already. Use the code CWTCL50 for 50% off your first box of a 3-month subscription or more. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare, and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Da-da-da-da-da, you like those bright feathers. Honk, 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 got those white feathers. Honk, 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 honk. It's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We need a little honk honk from a goose.
It came from my belt buckle.
Is it? I'm going to find a goose honk.
Okay, so this week's Breed Spotlight is
The Embden Goose.
We're bringing it in with the geese for 200, man.
We're all goosey over here. The ultimate is the Toulouse goose, because there's nothing better than some Toulousey goosey.
But that's not our Breed Spotlight.
Nope, no, it's not. It is the Embden.
Oh, you got these people excited now. Come on, that's not the Breed Spotlight.
I love some Toulouse. The lovely white Embden is one of the oldest known breeds of domestic geese. Now, keeping in mind that geese have been domesticated for at least the last 7,000 years.
It's a lot of years, man.
It's a long time. According to the UK breeder and writer Chris Ashton, Embdens may be as old as 2,000 years, and they likely originated in the Friesland region of Germany. Now, 2,000 years is pretty old for like a breed.
Yeah, it is.
They are a European heritage breed, but they're not considered at risk or endangered in the US or the UK.
That's good.
Right. Members of the heavy goose class, Embdens were in the first printing of the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection in 1874.
That's when it was out. I like to make Holly Ann laugh, and she just keeps looking at my belt buckle today.
I
So
can't
she's
see
laughing
it right now, thank God. Not distracting me. When people think of farm geese, it is the Embden and the beautiful gray Toulouse that they usually think of first. You know, big farm geese, white or gray.
Exactly.
Like so many members of the poultry family, Embdens get their name from the German port city from which they were exported.
We know this. We've heard this over 200 episodes.
And then some. Early on, they were also sometimes called Bremens or Hanovers,
Okay.
being German geese.
Right.
They first reached the UK in the very early 1800s in small numbers. But then there was this very large importation that came into the UK in 1815. And that has some poultry historians guessing that this was a direct result of the return of British soldiers from the Napoleonic War.
People bring things with them, and they
Well,
brought the geese.
It makes sense. It does make a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah. And now, Bridgerton fans, it would be possible to see big, beautiful Embden geese on the home farm of wealthy estate owners. So just think on that if you need a poultry connection to your Bridgerton.
I mean, bigger is better. That's what she said.
The Embdens arrived in the U.S., Rhode Island to be specific, in 1820, and they were enthusiastically included in the early U.S. poultry shows.
It would be really cool. A goose that was the Rhode Island goose. Like a red goose. That would be
Except
cool.
it's a German goose.
I know, but I was just thinking like Rhode Island.
The Rhode Island white goose.
There you go.
Doesn't really
But no,
roll
it would
off
be
the tongue.
red. I want it to be red.
Okay, that's a whole different goose.
It is, but it would
Whole
be so
different goose.
cool.
Okay.
It would be so cool.
Okay. Breeders in both the U.S. and the U.K. set out to increase the Embden size and take advantage of geese's naturally rapid growth to make them a preferred table bird.
I mean, that's the thing that everybody needs to know. If you're going to start with geese and you've never had them before, they grow like a weed.
Super quickly. Mine are 4 months old and they look like they've been grown up for 2 years.
I think I always bring this up because it was pretty funny. Holly and I, in one of our everyday conversations, she was like, Chris, these geese are bigger than the chickens now. And I'm like, wait, they're 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
And they're bigger than the big chickens.
Yeah.
That's fast,
It's
man.
very fast.
I mean, you blink and the babies are done.
That's why we spent as much time as we could with them when they were goslings.
24/7.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty
you
much.
had COVID when they came, so you were like in the house for days just.
No, I hung out with them.
No, I'm saying you had that time.
I was confined to the farm.
right.
Yes.
You couldn't leave, so
Yes.
you had. It was actually a blessing for you, not for me. They're going to chase me when I come over.
No, they won't. No, they won't. Well, maybe they will chase you.
You're going to be recording it on your
I
phone.
will.
You're like, this is going to make a fantastic reel.
They're going to get a gander at that belt buckle and they're going to be like, all in. And Chrissy got shiny stuff.
And the boots. I can't wear the boots, man.
No, not if you want them in one piece.
No.
Barbara Soanes, writing in the UK in 1980, mentioned that in the 70s, Embdens in the 30-pound range were to be found.
Wow.
Right. But that the sizes had been decreasing over the decades. So it sounds like that's when they hit their maximum size that we know about.
30 pounds. That's huge, man.
That's a big bird. Yeah. In their native Germany, Embdens are endangered and they are carefully bred to the German breed standard. Embdens bred in the UK have been imported to Germany several times over the past 200 years. And in some cases, German breeders have apparently had to breed traces of the Toulouse out of them to get them back to German standard.
Wait a minute. So they're okay here, but not in Germany.
Right.
They're in trouble in Germany.
Right. They're okay here and in the UK. But
That's flip-flopped. Usually it's so different. Usually it's the opposite.
They were also bred and passed back to Germany from several other European countries after the German population suffered due to a variety of problems. There was catastrophic flooding in the 1800s. There was the 2 world wars.
Right.
And some other, economic reasons. So yeah, they've had to try to back build the population
And
in
I'm
Germany.
sure as there was less food, they were eating more.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
If you look at photos of the German birds, so obviously recent photos of birds that have been bred to the German standard, it shows a large but a very well-balanced and refined goose. They're very, very pretty.
Right. Okay, so let's go into what they look like. The Embdens are very large, snow white geese.
Yep.
They're that bright white kind of farm goose looking that you think of. Charlotte's Web. What was on Charlotte's Web? What was the goose on there?
Gosh, if I can remember what color
It
she
reminds
was.
me of this one, the Embden.
Yeah, it could be.
It was white, I thought.
Maybe.
I thought it was, but
she was the one that spells everything.
Yeah, she was the smarty pants because the geese are so smart.
Double T, double E, double R, double R.
Exactly. Okay, so they're similar in size and stature to the Toulouse. Okay, so they're essentially, they look like I said, like the big farm goose that you're used to seeing on shows that put farm animals, or the cartoons that put the farm animals out there. They always show that big white goose.
Right.
They have the bright orange legs and bill that stand out really nicely against the white feathers. So the Embdens we've read in more than one source do need swimming water because they need it to clean and preen their white feathers.
Right.
So they got to take these baths to keep these feathers nice, bright, and white. Now, have we mentioned that these are large geese? I don't know if we've mentioned this or not.
Maybe not.
So depending on age and sex, ganders can weigh in at 20 to 26 pounds, while the females are weighing in at 16 to 20. Now, these geese are very large. And you got to take a really large goose seriously like this, because if they're imprinted on you, but even during breeding season and stuff, the large size can come after you. So you got to take that into consideration.
A well-brought-up goose will behave for the most part.
They will. Now, they have a strong, broad back and a full rounded breast and a deep paunch. Okay.
The paunch are the lobes that hang down under their belly.
Yeah. They're not as deep as the Toulouse.
Because Toulouse have some serious paunch.
They got the serious
They got the
paunch, man. They got
Arabella's
serious
got
paunch.
some paunch.
Now they have long, strong necks and a smooth oval head.
Beautiful.
It is they actually are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Now the beautiful light blue eyes show off their alert curiosity. And like I said before, they're really intelligent. You're going to find this out about geese if you haven't had them before. Out of the poultry family, sometimes they feel they're too smart for their owners and the other poultry they're with.
I'll tell you what, geese don't suffer fools.
They've got a nice size, big brain in there. They're highly, highly intelligent. So they're not going to be great layers.
Right.
They do go broody, though. So they'll make good moms so they can have that job.
Mm-hmm.
And they do make very good mother gooses. And they're just going to be great to have around as a guardian animal.
Will we talk about that in the next paragraph?
Yeah, but that's what they're going to be great as.
Aren't you talking about eggs?
Yeah, but they're going to be great as a guardian animal, too. The Embden Goose will give you an average of about 24 very large white eggs each year, often laid in 2 clutches. Now, the best layers among them may give you 30 to 40 per year, but they're not great egg layers.
Right.
You're going to have them for other reasons, like I said.
You know, Embdens are known as the primary meat production goose breed, but they do make great homestead geese.
Right. I mean, they're dual purpose.
Right. They can be dual purpose birds, but they're also fantastic for trimming the grass and weeds. They sound the alarm over anything that does not look right. That includes big shiny belt buckles.
They're a good guardian animal, like I was saying.
Embden ganders have a reputation for being quite protective of their ladies when they're setting. So we would not risk small children around them during mating season.
I think a lot of the injuries that happen to people with their geese is during mating season.
Probably. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, that's when you'll see. And that's one of the things. They're highly protective of the clutch. They're highly protective of the moms.
Right.
So those are one of the things that you have to watch out for.
Historically, those white feathers would have been prized for filling pillows and duvets and for making the famous German feather Christmas trees.
Right.
Feathers still have lots of use in fashion and crafts today, and they're easy to gather as your geese shed them.
Right.
So you can get you some cruelty-free feathers.
Exactly. As a molt, you can pick up those feathers and you can make your own pillow.
The girls, when they're in their run, now, my geese free range a lot, but they do have a run when we're not with them.
Right.
They will rub their chest against the run, and there'll be a pile of feathers in the corner.
Well, I'm sure you're collecting them.
Of course I am. Of course I am.
So they're quite cold hardy, and they don't need much more than a comfortable house with some soft bedding.
Exactly.
Which makes it easy.
It does. In the heat, make sure they have cool water and plenty of it to drink and cool off in, whether that's swimming water or whether that's low buckets that they can get their heads into or shallow splash pans that they can get their feet in.
We were talking about this, and this is how I feel about geese. I feel like they're middle of the road when it comes to poultry. So
I beg your pardon.
I don't mean that in a bad way. Let me explain how I mean this.
You need to explain.
I'll explain it. When you have chickens on one end, they're like land animals. They don't like water. You have ducks on the other end. They overly love water. And I feel like geese are right midland in the middle.
Yeah.
So they're a good mix of ducks and chickens. Now they have the size, they have the intelligence, they like water, but they don't have to have a ton of it always. So
No, they do enjoy a swim and they like it for preening, especially the light colored ones. But you're right. They don't like they'll be out in the field grazing for hours at a time.
right. They don't have to be sitting in water 100% of the time.
Right.
Where ducks, I mean, their main love is water.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want waterfowl, but you don't want a duck that's in water 100% of the time,
Right.
the geese may be the way to go.
Yeah, just keep in mind, all the things you need to know about geese, their size, their noise.
Right.
I personally think the honk is the most joyful sound in the world.
I hear it every single morning when I
let 'em
call
out.
you.
I always peer in their window because they're in a shed with a window and we put hardware cloth over the window for
Right.
predator protection. And to avoid startling them, I go over to the window and say good morning.
Right.
And by the time I've gotten to the door to open it, there are some big dirty honks coming out of there.
Everybody's burning question now that we've talked about geese and different breeds and different things. Where can you get them?
Well, if I were buying geese, I would go straight to Metzer Farms and McMurray Hatchery because they are great sources for waterfowl, including these Embdens.
They are. They are the best. We love them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have the Embden Goose, send us some pictures. Put it on your story on Instagram. Hit the mention button. Put in Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, and then we can easily reshare your pictures and your stories. We'd love to see them.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder in 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes. Let's move on to main topic. Yeah.
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 Okay, so we have a really fantastic guest for this, our 200th episode.
Yeah.
Today, we're thrilled to have Lisa Steele with us. If somehow you don't know who Lisa is, she is the original Chicken Lady blogger. She is the star of the PBS series My Main Farm. She has written 7 books, including the Fresh Eggs Daily Cookbook. Lisa, welcome back.
Thanks for having me back.
Hey, welcome back to the table.
I feel like I need one of those SNL jackets. You know how they give the hosts who have been on more than once a jacket?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. A Chicken Lady jacket.
That's
There
a good
we go.
idea. I like that idea. Well, today, we've had you on before, obviously, for chicken stuff. We've talked ducks more than once. And today, we're going to talk about geese.
Oh,
Yes, we
yeah.
are.
So I'm going to start the questioning here because we're going to start right at the beginning, right where we need everybody to start. And that is selecting the geese that are right for you and right for your situation. So, Lisa, how do you go about selecting the geese for your farm?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's really important because geese are huge. They're just gigantic compared to chickens and ducks, and they can be aggressive. So, assuming you're not looking for geese to guard your home, what I was looking for was breeds that would be docile, wouldn't try to kill us, would get along with our other animals. And we have a corgi. We had a corgi who is super headstrong. So we needed an animal that wasn't going to clash. So I looked at breeds. The docile breeds are Toulouse and Buff, which we chose. Also Sebastopol. There's a couple others, but I knew I wanted to stay away from the Africans and Chinese, who have a reputation for being a lot more aggressive. We originally started out with 1 gander and 2 geese. because I thought, well, maybe, down the road we want to hatch geese someday. And the gander will be a little bit more aggressive if we have a coyote issue or a dog comes in the yard or something. And I think we lasted with Henry through the first mating season, and we ended up rehoming him to a local farm where he was going to live down by the horse barn by a pond and protect the horses. Henry would chase us back into the house. He would grab your arm and twist like to the point where it was leaving black and blues. I mean, he literally wanted to kill us. I had to like feed him through the fencing. He was doing what ganders do. He was protecting his girls while they were laying. He was protecting the eggs, but he was just super aggressive. So we learned for us, the female geese were where it's at. They're still super observant. They're really loud if they see something that they don't like. They keep the chickens and ducks in order, but they're not people aggressive at all. So, that was a good choice to pick docile breeds and then just stick with the females.
The Sebastopol's are, like you said, also known to be docile. They're super hard to get because they're so in demand.
Because they're so beautiful. They remind me of ballet.
They're beautiful, Swan Lake. I love them, but where we have so much snow and ice and mud up here, I just thought it would not be super easy to keep them clean and looking good. And I know Martha Stewart has a bunch of them, but she probably like handpicks the
Martha
snow
also has a whole
or whatever.
Martha has a whole staff to take care of her poultry yards too. So
right.
Lucky Martha. I followed your advice. I did not get a gander. We got 2 American buffs and a French Toulouse and are absolutely thrilled with them. So thanks for that good advice.
You are welcome. I should add, there's the Pilgrim, I think. There's Pomeranians. P. Allen Smith has some Pomeranians, I believe, that are super rare, and they're kind of brown and white spotted. I really wanted those. I couldn't find any. I think they might be more popular in Europe. But yeah, there are a couple other breeds that are super attractive. I think the geese are beautiful. I just love, they walk through the yard and they're like stately sailing ships, just like moving through the yard. They're just on such a different, compared to ducks. The geese are so laid back, so zen, and the ducks are like I always play the Mission Impossible music, under my duck reels. That would never be played under a goose reel because they're just not, that's not their vibe at all.
This is like a side question, but what are some of the reasons you would want to get geese?
I wanted the geese mainly because not a fan of roosters, as those who listen to me might know, but I thought the geese would do a better job keeping an eye out for things. We do have a coyote, issue. We have hawks around. I have to say that the geese have successfully herded the ducks and chickens back into the run or under the bushes when they see a hawk. So they're really good at that. They're super smart. We haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had like a ground predator come yet. I don't know what would happen in that case, but as far as hawks go, they have definitely done their job and kept everybody. So from that standpoint, but from a more, I don't even know if I want to talk about this, but like from a homesteading standpoint, I'm sure some of your listeners do raise meat birds, and that, like I said, they're huge. They also mature very quickly. And so if you're raising a meat bird, to me, geese would make a lot of sense. I also personally love dark meat. I've never had goose, I don't think. I've had duck, but I've never had goose. I think that, from a homesteading standpoint and an economy standpoint, well, even if you're going to eat them or not, we were talking before we started recording that all summer, even here in Maine, where we have snow half the year, all summer, they really just eat grass. I give them a bowl of wheat in the evenings. Sometimes they eat it all, sometimes they don't, but they theoretically, especially if you live in a warm climate, your feed cost could be almost zero. They can get the nutrition they need from the grass and the weeds. The thing that surprised me most about the geese, I thought they were going to be very much like ducks. Just like big ducks, right?
Yeah,
right.
Geese are more like cows. They graze, they eat grass, they walk around. They do swim in their little tub a little bit, but they're not super interested in the swimming.
I can see that.
I can see that too.
For sure.
I said the same thing kind of about my sheep, because we have the sheep. They do remind me of sheep. They go out together in a flock. They do their grazing. They hang out and they preen for a while. Yeah.
Take a nap.
They're very, very much that kind of a herd animal, flock animal. Yeah.
Yeah. And people ask, how much space do I need for my geese? Or could I house them with my chickens and ducks? And it doesn't really make sense to put them in your chicken coop because they don't eat feed. I mean, I will give them layer feed during the laying season, which is incredibly short, and they will pick at it. And the reason I know that is because a few times I had the chickens out free ranging and the geese would go in the run and start eating the layer feed. But if you give them layer feed other times of the year, they're not interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
They will eat it while they're laying. And I also give them the eggshells, but they don't eat the same diet that chickens and ducks do. So it doesn't make sense to house them together. And they really should free range, or if you had a pen for them. So we have like a fenced in area. They have a small pen that's like safe. If we're not home, we put them in that. But I also put like a temporary fence kind of when we just want to keep them contained. I bet that they would not turn it into dirt like chickens and ducks do. I have a feeling if they had a large pen that they would just graze it and they could get the grass and it would just
versus dig out.
Yeah. They don't eat it by the roots. So you probably, if you absolutely couldn't free range your geese, you probably could build them a large run and it would have grass in it that they could eat, because they really do need to eat that grass.
That would be an interesting experiment. We are building a run for our geese that goes around their house. We haven't gotten to it yet. Right now, if we can't be out there with them, they're in an empty run, just to keep them contained and safe. But I'll see what they do when we build the run for them. They will still be free ranging twice a day with me. But, if you put chickens in there, it's going to be gone in 60 days.
It will be gone. Yeah. And that's the thing, I'm thinking, because there are weeds and grass growing in the little pen. And I mean, the pen the geese have, it's like their night pen. It's maybe 4x4. I mean, it's very small. It's just for their food and water. There is grass. There's wheat growing in it because, they drop some of their wheat. And they haven't eaten that. So I bet I could probably even grow grass in that little 4x4 pen to give them some grass to eat at night. And it would just keep growing and they would nibble it down and it would grow back.
Yeah.
Interesting experiment.
It is. And feeding them has been fascinating too. I was shocked at how I do have pellets for them. The Neutrina makes a nice food for them. But I was like, these birds are huge, and I go through like a third of the amount of food for them that I do for chickens. It's amazing.
They're very, we were talking before also about John Metzer from Metzer Farms and what a great resource he is. And when I got the geese, I did not know anything about raising geese, couldn't find a lot of resources. So I did talk to him at length about them. And he said that they are excellent at converting nutrients. And in the winter, they almost go into like a hibernation stage. So even in the winter, they don't eat as much as you would think they would. Like I give them hay in the winter and then I give them the wheat because they don't have any grass to eat. Although I do grow them fodder. They like fodder, but they basically in the winter eat the hay and the wheat and they eat so little of it. You wonder, but they have these fat pouches, the pouches between their legs there that they store up, and those get a bit larger and larger as heading into winter. And that's kind of their added fat that they use through the winter. But yeah, they eat very little. They're very, very affordable to eat. And I was interested, and again, coming from John Metzer, so I know that this is good information. Unlike chickens and ducks, they can eat hay and they don't get, impacted crops or anything. Chickens and ducks, if you gave them hay, another reason why you don't want to house them with your chickens and ducks. I keep that hay out of the chicken's reach. But yeah, geese they're just so economical, and they just have this little basically shed, with straw on the ground. And another interesting thing, now I forget if it's 11 minutes or 20 minutes, like how often geese poop. They don't store food. I think it's 11 minutes. So they don't store food in their crop like chickens and ducks do. They eat and poop and eat and poop. So when you put them in for the night, they might poop like one more time. But in the morning, their entire house is not full of poop. So I rarely have to clean the goose house. The straw stays clean for months and months and months.
I have my own shavings. And what I noticed very quickly is I just have to scoop off the top layer. I don't even have to change out all the shavings.
They get into the water, I'm sure, a little bit. But if you don't have it in the coop itself, then it doesn't matter. What I wanted to circle back to a little bit was the selection.
Let's get this back on track.
The selecting is, what you're saying is personality. When you select the goose breed that you want, we did mention Metzer Farm. So I just wanted to go back because they're a resource for everyone to know that if you're going to get a really good goose, go to Metzer Farms. They're amazing there.
Yes, and check out their breed. They have like a breed analysis comparing temperament, egg laying, how calm they are, just all kinds of things. They're a great resource, whether it's ducks or geese.
And then once you get the goslings, let's go into brooding. And how should you set up the brooder for your goslings?
I used our chicken brooder. which I used to use a plastic tote, but then I built like this wooden thing, whatever. But it's basically a big plastic tote. They grow so fast. And because they wanted to eat the grass, I had them out in one of those puppy play pens, that people use almost from day one. They didn't even seem to really need the heat. And it was summer and they were happy eating grass so early on. I don't remember exactly when I put them outside for good, but it was much quicker than chickens and ducks because they just grow so fast.
It's astonishing how fast they grow.
I remember at one point, Holly Ann, you said to me, I think they were only a few weeks old, and you were like, they're bigger than the chickens. And I could not believe it because when you got them, you had COVID, and then I couldn't come over. And then you were like, Chris, they're like bigger than the chickens now. I'm like, they're only 3 weeks. How is that?
They grow and feather so quickly. Yeah. It's almost unbelievable. And again, very efficiently using the feed. It's not like you're feeding them boatloads. I really felt like I was feeding more feed to the chicks than the goslings by far.
It's been a while now. I think ours are like 4 and 5 years old. But did you give them chick feed?
It was Neutrina's duck and all-flock feed.
Okay.
And they did really, really well on that. And then I switched them over to the duck pellets. And from there, I transferred them onto the NatureWise Nourish.
Mine eat wheat. I just buy them winter white wheat, hard white wheat or whatever it's called. Yeah, hard white wheat, whole wheat. I buy that in bulk in huge bags. I give them that and the grass. And they don't even eat the wheat half the time.
The wheat is very affordable.
If you can find it at your feed store in bulk, absolutely. And it has all the nutrients. And again, they're very much like cows or sheep. They get most of the nutrients they need from the grasses and the weeds and all that. I do, like during laying season, which is not very long, 2 months, maybe 3 months, something like that. I do give them the chicken layer feed. And of course, I mix in the Roosty for the ducks, which the geese also, that helps them as well. But they can honestly get enough niacin from the weeds and the greenery and stuff that they're eating, like the wild birds do. So I try to keep them on as natural a diet because the wheat is definitely cheaper than.
I just want to bring this up real quick because I want to bring this up real quick just to clear it up that they don't need like the niacin so if you get ducks and geese, they're different. They don't need that extra.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do, but they can get it from the grasses and stuff. And I would guess that the waterfowl feed had added niacin in it because it's waterfowl feed. So it would. Yeah. So they do. Although, so if you have ducks, you know that their favorite treat is peas and water. Throw peas in water. They absolutely love it. So I tried throwing peas in the goose water. They were offended by it. They wouldn't drink the water. They absolutely hate anything thrown in their water. They'll eat dandelion greens, but not in their water. They don't appreciate that at all. But they'll put things in their water. So I'll find like a pine cone or a stick or a rock.
Rocks.
Or once I found a tennis ball, a snake. I mean, they just, they like to throw stuff in the water, which is very funny, but they don't turn it all mucky and muddy like ducks do. So they don't dabble in the mud
or chickens
and then go in the water or chickens.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
I found the same thing. My girls, when I feed them the floating bits, I just put them in their dish and they will put them in the water if they want to. I've given them peas, not in the water. That is a no-no. The peas must be scattered for them to pick up. And same thing, they will put all kinds of stuff. I use a couple of big, shallow, they used to be grain pans for my llamas years ago, but they hold a couple gallons of water. They can get in that and play, and they love it. And I find all kinds of weird stuff in there, often rocks.
Yeah, rocks, it's weird. They make their own little soups, but they're funny. They won't eat their wheat off the ground. Like if they dump their bowl over and it falls on the ground, they won't eat that. It has to be in their bowl. Which, I mean, chickens and ducks, I just throw their stuff on the ground.
And they don't care. Geese are so, I want to say snobby, but it has such negative connotations. But geese are very aware of their own worth, I think.
Yeah. They're confident about things. They're very particular. And chickens will eat anything. Like you clean out your refrigerator and throw it, they'll eat everything. Ducks are more picky. They like the leafy greens, the spaghetti, the watermelon, whatever. Geese, super picky. Mine will eat carrots. They'll eat cabbage, but not the purple. It has to be the green because I have these little hanging ladles that I put their treats in at night. And I mean, just so picky. They like Brussels sprout, but it's kind of like, trial and error. I mean, I gave them purple cabbage and you would have thought like the world was coming to an end.
They're like, what is this? No.
So funny. They're so smart and so funny. So I think we finished up brooding. Brooding, you can start with the regular chicken brooder. Obviously, you're going to have to manage the water. I just put everything in a big tray.
Yeah.
It worked really well for the goslings for me. And then, like we said, they're out of the brooder fast. I think they're out within 8 weeks.
The other thing I want to bring up too is they have to have water when they eat. So just remember this, because if not, they can get food stuck. As waterfowl, they can't have dry food and water separately. They have to be given these things together. They always have to have water with their food.
Yeah, that makes me nervous when someone will say, I leave the feed and water inside, the coop, and then at night I take the water out. But they're leaving the feed there. And if they've got that, that could be a disaster. We have the little attached pen that their food and water is in year round. So it's outside, except when it's like super, 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 super cold. Sometimes I'll give them their food in, their house, but then the water just freezes pretty much right away anyway. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, always food and water together. Good point.
I just wanted to move to the next point that we were going to ask you about. And we kind of touched on it a few minutes ago, but it's housing them. So basically, what kind of, like we were talking about a yard, a run, and a coop for them. How should someone set that up?
I mean, honestly, they just need, I wouldn't even call it a coop. Ours is just like a 4x4 shed, with 2 windows. Of course, we've got the welded wire over, you need predator proofing like you would with your coop, with your chicken coop. But, there's just a door. I just open it in the morning. There's straw, maybe 8 inches of straw on the bottom. And I have their metal container of their food, the wheat that I leave in there. And that's about it. Just really as simple as that. If you have a shed, they can live in the shed. They should be out grazing all day if it's safe for them. We only put them in that pen. At night, they can go back and forth if they want to sleep inside or in the little pen. And then we sometimes put like the low fence. That's the other beautiful thing. Once they grow up, they can't even clear like a 4-foot fence usually. So you can put fencing around just to kind of like, if we're having some work done on a house, we don't want them like intermingling with the painters, we'll put them like in the fenced in area, or if like we're having mowing or something, and they're perfectly fine with that. But I mean, simple, basic, if you're around all day, just somewhere that they can sleep, that they're safe from predators with some straw on the floor.
And with their size, they're less likely to be taken by a predator because, well, the other thing is they're known to be like a guardian animal because they make so much noise.
They're super observant, yeah.
Right. But the other thing is their size. They're much bigger than other poultry, other than like turkeys. So it's harder for like flying predators.
I don't worry. Like a hawk is not going to bother them. A fox, against 2 of them, I would never leave them outside at night.
Right.
Obviously, coyote or a dog or something, but they definitely have a better chance. Although I have seen a video of a woman whose goose got picked up by an eagle, and the eagle was like trying to fly away with the goose. And the woman actually ran out in her pajamas and yelled and screamed, and the eagle dropped the goose. But they're still vulnerable, but not nearly as much. I feel a lot more comfortable leaving them out, and they are allowed if they see something that they don't like the looks of, and they're always observant. Like when they're grazing, one will eat and the other will be looking, and then the other will eat, the other will look, or they'll stand. So they're looking in opposite directions. So they're very aware of what's going on.
I didn't realize that for the longest time. I have one girl, my birds all have silly food names. So I have a girl named Pfeffernuss after the German cookie, and Pfeffernuss likes to be the guard. So a lot of times she'll be a little further away, like staring at the woods or staring at the sky. And it took me a long time to realize that's what she was doing, like sentry duty.
Yeah. It's interesting. I feel like they love the ducks and they don't really care about the chickens, because a lot of times, like if a hawk comes, they'll run right over to the ducks and get the ducks all herded. And to be fair, ducks are easier to herd than chickens, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll get the ducks all rounded up and push them into the coop, and then they'll stand by the door and not let the ducks out. And the chickens, they kind of are like, you guys are on your own.
Oh, no.
Well, mine don't even like the chickens. My geese just hiss every time they see the chickens.
Kind of like how I feel now too. I get it.
It's really funny. I mean, I guess I would say, and tell me what you think about this, Lisa, I would never let my geese near my chickens unsupervised.
So that's funny because I am of the mind, even with our puppy now, he's chasing the geese. And, so my husband will go to let him out. He'll be like, oh, let's go out this door. The geese are over there. And I'm like, no, just let him out because they're going to have to learn to get along. They're going to have to sort it out. He's going to either have to get tired of chasing them or they're going to have to turn around and say, enough. Like, we have to work this out because I don't want, oh, the chickens are out, the geese can't be out, or we have to, so I've actually put the geese in the chicken run at times. Like if we have to go somewhere with the chickens and ducks, they're very bossy. I don't think the chickens and ducks like it all that much. But over the years, they've learned to sort it out. Some of the chickens will just go up on a perch and be like, I'm done with this. They chase the ducks for a little bit. But I think the more they're with each other, they learn to get along. But no, at first, I didn't think it was going to work out because the geese would go after the chicken. Yeah. And they were pulling out their feathers and all this. But then I think after time, they learn too, like, you're supposed to be protecting these guys. Like, this is your job,
Okay,
which they were like, no, we're not accepting that mission. We don't care about the chicken. Well, but they do love the ducks.
I will continue to keep an eye on them.
Yours are young. They're teenagers. When our ducks were young too, they would run around, and pull the chicken's feathers out. And then they grow up and they get tired of it.
I hope they get tired of that. It's funny when they hiss, but oh my goodness.
Well, sometimes they hiss when they're scared too.
Oh, that's a thought. Maybe it's that. Well, I'll have to do some more work in that department. I cannot believe how quickly this half an hour has flown by. But we're down to our last question, which is, what is your favorite breed of goose?
A Toulouse and Buff. I can't,
It's hard.
Yeah. No, I would have to say Toulouse. I love their coloring and I love the orange around her eyes. To be fair, I only have experience with the two breeds. They're similar. I think the Toulouse are a little bit more confident. Maybe our Buff Harper is just such a mama's boy and kind of a sissy, honestly.
Well, that's okay. If you're going to have a mama's boy goose, that's okay. But I agree with you. I think the Toulouse are a little more confident and they're just gorgeous geese. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a mama's boy. There's nothing wrong with a mama's boy.
And I should add that Harper's a girl. So
that's okay.
We're mama's girl.
Mama's girl. That's all right.
I only say that because I got a mama's boy over here. So there's nothing wrong with
it. She's a girl with it, but definitely a mama's boy.
Mirabelle's in charge. My Buffs are sweet as pie.
Oh, that's a pretty name. I like Mirabelle.
She's tart on Mirabelle. Yeah. After the French plums. It suits her. But she is very bossy. She is, yeah.
But yeah, the geese are definitely bossy. And again, the chickens and ducks, they have to learn to stand up for themselves or get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
That's the only way things work if everybody just gets along.
Well, we have to let Lisa go, but remember to check out Fresh Eggs Daily blog. Lisa, I know you have some really good goose posts on your blog.
I have some, people ask for content all the time, but geese are so easy. There's really nothing to say about them. Mm-hmm. They're just incredibly easy.
You really love your geese and you can tell you love to talk about them. So we'll have to have you back on the show to talk another half an hour about another goose topic out there because they are fun to talk about. I am an auntie to 3 geese, so I can jump in there occasionally too. So
we should definitely do a part 2 more, maybe about like the eggs and the laying and maybe
definitely
that once yours are laying. So they might start this fall. I forget. I think it's about 9 months before they start laying. So it might be a while yet.
I think it'll probably be early spring. 2025. Yeah.
Oh, believe me, we'll let everybody know on our social media when the first goose egg comes out. That's for sure.
Yes.
Thank you, Lisa. It's always fun having you on the show. We'll talk to you soon.
Always a pleasure.
Bye.
Bye.
We just want to thank Lisa one more time for coming on to talk geese. I'm sorry, Chris, you probably had a hard time. It was probably like herding geese.
It was between the both of you.
Yeah, because we are so passionate about our geese.
I'm an auntie to geese. I don't have them, so I do know something. But yeah, you guys, I had to be the moderator because you guys were like...
It was Gooserama.
It was.
Well, Lisa's one of our most frequent guests. She's been a great supporter and even mentor for us in the podcast over the years. And so a gigantic thank you to her.
And she loves her geese.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to...
Cracking the eggs.
Cracking those eggs.
This week's recipe is a passion of my husband's. And by that, I mean, I've already made it twice in the span of 2 weeks because he thinks it's so delicious.
Well, he likes apple bread pudding.
It's not, well, okay. It's baked apple pudding, right? But it's not a pudding like you would think of. It's like a cakey pudding.
Well, that's kind of what bread pudding is, cakey.
Except you don't even put bread in.
But it somehow ends up that way.
Like the batter, it gets cakey.
Okay. I am a huge fan. I have been known to take down some bread pudding. I love myself some bread pudding.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And this is the month of apples, so we're continuing with this process. Let's go through.
Was it a chore for you?
No, I love apples. In fact, I went to my local orchard. We have one 20 minutes away, which we're so lucky. And they have lots of different apples to choose from. Mm-hmm. And I made my own cake with apples the other day. So I love apples.
Yeah.
I just don't have the heritage or the heirloom apple trees like you do.
Well done, you.
Well, when am I getting some of these heirloom apples
there were only 3
that you speak of?
There were 3 this year.
Well, there's one for me, one for you, and one for Pete.
In the pudding, baby. They're in the pudding.
Okay. I didn't get any of this pudding, man. Come on. I didn't get any of this pudding.
I know. I'm sorry. Next time. The third time I make it in the space of 3 weeks.
Let's go on to ingredients that we're going to put in. It's 2 apples peeled, if you desire. Holly didn't.
Nope.
Cored and cut into small chunks. Sweet tart apples work the best. They work the best for baking.
They do, yeah.
Because you're adding extra sugar in. In fact, you're adding 1 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half teaspoon of cinnamon, a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/4 teaspoon of cardamom, a pinch of cloves, because that's very fall-like, a cup of flour or gluten-free flour, 1-to-1, 2 tablespoons of buckwheat flour. This is optional, but Holly thinks it's delicious in hers.
It's delicious.
A pinch of sea salt, 1 large egg, 1 cup of milk or dairy-free milk or creamer, 1/3 of a cup of butter or dairy-free butter, brown sugar for sprinkling on top. What's the type of sugar? I forgot the name of it that's made for sprinkling on top.
Demerara.
That's it. Mm-hmm. Or you can get that too. They even have Walmart.
It's just like rustic brown sugar.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to melt the butter in a 2-quart casserole dish. I just popped it in the microwave. Don't do that if you have a metal pan.
No.
That won't end well.
Do not.
If you have a metal pan, either put the pan in the oven to heat up or microwave the butter in a bowl and pour it in. However you decide to do this, you need melted butter in the bottom of your pan. You want a medium to large mixing bowl. You're going to combine the sugar, the flours, the salt, the spices, the baking powder, the milk, and the egg. Mix it together to form a batter. You're going to pour the batter over top of the butter in the baking dish. And then you're going to take those apples and you're just going to pile them in the center of the batter and spread them out a little bit. Sprinkle with the brown sugar and pop this in the oven. Literally, layer of butter, layer of batter, apples, sprinkle the sugar into the oven.
We always talk about our favorite recipes are those you don't even need a mixer. You don't need anything. You just mix the ingredients together and bake them and you have something delicious.
You're going to bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes in a 375-degree oven. It's going to make your house smell amazing. And when it comes out, you have one of the perfect apple desserts.
I'd like to see it at my house. When are you bringing it over?
Well, Pete might chew my arm off if I try to get out the door with it. I mean, Pete is like, he finished his first plate of it and he said, I need more of that in my mouth.
Okay, so try it. You might like it. And send us pictures if you make it. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're talking about an awesome thing that we both have now, and it's the Omlet Pro.
Oh, yeah. This is one fantastic coop.
It's really awesome.
So we have to say Omlet did give us each an Omlet Pro, and we are reviewing them here.
And if you look on our social media, you will see mine with the babies up quite frequently.
Mine has my elderly rooster, Casper.
And his 2 new ladies. We got him some youngins. Yes.
They're stunning blue Langshan. So I need to get some photos of them to put up. The Omlet Pro. It is bigger than the cube.
It's to hold 10 to 15 chickens. Now, it's spacious.
It's very spacious, yes.
It's very spacious. And the thing I really like about this coop right now is those nesting boxes are not part of the main living space.
Right. So they're on the side.
They're off the side. Mm-hmm. And a really cool thing, I really love the nesting boxes for multiple reasons. They're off the side. They have a very secure lock on the door that's going to keep everything out that needs to be out of there.
Yeah, the latches on the doors are a little different than the first generation omelets, or even all of my other
It
omelets.
has a safety feature where you have to
press it down.
Yeah.
You know what that means? It means raccoons can't get it open.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to figure that out. I could barely figure that out at first.
Oh, I couldn't figure it out either.
I was like, wait.
I was like, this is hard.
Yeah. Now it's super easy. But the other thing that the nest boxes have, which is new, which is really cool, is a part that is a petition that comes down and it blocks the chickens from the nesting boxes. Now here, you could use this for two reasons. The first is some people don't want their chickens sleeping in their nest boxes. I personally don't care.
Doesn't bother me either, but some people really don't like it. Yeah.
Because then they poop in their nest boxes and then they lay the eggs in there. But if you clean them out, you have no problem. The other thing that I thought it works great for is if you have a broody, you can block them, put that petition down, and block them like the afternoon after everybody's laid the eggs. You can block the nest box from the inside.
So she can't get back in there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that's
hopefully, that can help with a broody. Now, inside, it's smart setup. So it's set up to do all the different things.
You can put the app on your phone, and you can remotely close the door. You can remotely open the door.
It has a place for a fan. It has a place for a light.
A coop camera.
Right. All the really nice stuff. Now, I attached the run to mine. So they're out there and they have the run. And the thing I like about the run is the metal it's heavy.
That's the thing. Everyone thinks that the omelet walk-in runs or any of the omelet runs don't look super substantial. Once the whole thing's put together, it's really sturdy.
Yeah. And the other thing that's really nice, that this is the only one that I've seen like this, it actually has like a 1 to 1.5 foot apron that comes off the bottom.
All the omelet runs have that, yeah.
That's really a nice feature. So,
and the thing is, I put cement blocks on mine.
Now I used stakes.
Right. Either way, no matter what you use, eventually over time, grass is going to grow up and dirt's going to cover that and it's going to sink down.
Right. And so I think I used like 100 used stakes and we're bang them into the apron so that something can get under. And now the other thing I want to do is put some planters of some fall flowers around the coop, around the run. The planters I'll put on the apron so that, again, will secure it. But I feel secure, very secure with the chickens in the Omlet Pro.
Absolutely.
And I feel like the other thing is there's 3 ventilation setups for the chickens in there.
Right.
So you can open and close and do the ventilation there. All in all, it's an amazing run to use for your chickens and coop.
It's a fantastic coop. Putting it together takes a few hours. Now, again, we didn't put the run on the front. We put it in a freestanding run.
Right.
But you do have the option of putting wheels on it.
Right. I did not because I'm not moving mine.
But you can move it. You can move the whole coop and the attached run setup if you want to, like different spots around, fresh grass, that sort of thing. It has Omlet's trademark double-walled insulation. So
it feels really strong when you put it up.
If you're dealing with really cold temperature in the winter, it holds heat very well. In the summer, you can use it to your advantage because you can put a fan or even an ice block in there.
Right. And even has a spot for the fan inside.
Yep.
I think the thing that I liked is, well, if you got more than one, the second one would take you less time than the first one.
Well, that's the case with
anything. The first time you do it, you're not familiar with it, so you're not going to know. It's going to take you long.
We did discover that there is a full set of videos to go along with it, and that helped.
Right. And the other thing is, it comes with all the tools that you will need to put it together.
Yep.
And, the instructions are a lot of illustration based. So you have to look at the pictures and see how it goes.
Right.
So it's really easy to understand. And my chickens went in on the second day they were in there.
Mine went right in. Casper slept in it that night.
But he's used to it. Mine weren't used to it. These were the babies.
It is a new one.
These were the babies. They went in second day. They were in that run.
That is pretty good, yeah.
So they knew what it was about. They went in. They lay all together. And it has the removable trays. Let's not forget about the trays that you can clean out very easily.
Cleaning an omelet coop is the easiest clean out ever. You slide the trays out, you dump, put them back in, fresh shavings, you're done.
And then they also have the bowls that comes with it that you hook to the run. I like them. I put water in the water bowl, and the babies drink the water right out of it.
Yeah.
So it hooks to the fence right there, hooks to the run. It's a great thing.
The smart system is fantastic if you are really into auto doors, and the fact that you can work it remotely is great.
Right.
The setup also comes with a tarp for weather.
Right. So what's our episode with Hans, one of the creators? Is it 199 where we talk to him?
198.
198. We talked to Hans. It's a good, if you're interested in the omelet, go back and re-listen to 198. We talked to one of the main 4 creators of the Omelet Coop and Run, and check it out. You can't go wrong with it. That's our review. You cannot go wrong with this run and coop.
It's a great coop. You can make it work no matter where you live.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting the beautiful Phoenix chicken.
Yes, we are.
We have Tom Watkins, president of McMurray Hatchery, joining us. We're going to talk about brooding chicks in the fall, recap Murray Fest, and some other good stuff.
I just love Tom.
Cracking the eggs, pumpkin crumble bars. It has begun.
Yes. Some people start way earlier, but October is when we start.
And retail therapy, this is a fun one. This is a new clothing company that we discovered. It's called Don't Be an Egg Hole.
Take that advice. Okay, what should we
Shut your egg hole.
What should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thanks for listening.